So Gray and I met in preschool, but we really became close when I transferred to Little Langley in the fourth grade. I had a really hard time adjusting. I was having a hard time in life in general, and Gray made me feel welcome. Gray was a friend to me when I really needed a friend, and he was there for me through everything in my life, pretty much. He was there for the first time I got in a fight. He was there the first time I kissed a girl. And even though we ended up going to different high schools and different colleges, he was always there for me. And I know he still is. He lives on in my memories. And I know he's watching down on all of us that loved him and that he loved.
Grey Mazich, a beautiful young man who treated people the right way, was always there to welcome you. Yes, Gray was an outstanding student athlete who captained the football and rugby teams. There was nothing better than watching Gray run freely on the field, embracing the open space, and passionately enjoy the gifts God had given him. However, his greatest gift that he learned at home was how to engage with others. Gray was a friend to everyone and always was there to encourage or assist. In talking with his teammates over his 4 years at prep, he had relationships throughout all classes. Gray's gentle daily actions always made those around him better. Gray was a fierce competitor on the field who always put team first. Over his time at prep, he faced many challenges, but he always stood tall for the betterment of the team. There were times when his shoulder wasn't 100%. However, he would tell no one how much it truly bothered him. There was no way that he would come off the field. He knew that his teammates needed him, and that is all he cared about. Team always came first with Gray. Personally, there was nothing better than sitting down and talking with Gray. He and I were kind of on the same wavelength. I truly appreciated that he was one of those golden retrievers on the team. Loyal as can be, always a smile on his face, and sense of wonderment that flowed with him. I remember yelling at him one day at practice, and I felt awful. He just had this way about him. What I came to understand is how much he truly cared. He wanted to please. He wanted to help. He wanted to make a difference. He wanted to make those around him better. I love Grey Mazich. Gray's spirit will last forever in all of us. He made a difference in all of our lives, and he clearly established what being a great son, a great teammate, a great friend is. I will always pray to Gray, and I know that he will always be there for our family. God bless Gray. God bless the Mazich family, and always keep the faith.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brian O'Loughlin, and it's with a heavy heart that I share this today. Gray meant the absolute world to me. We were partners in crime through our formidable high school years and made countless memories together. His first impression of me was in freshman football when somebody was having guys over after practice and asked if I should be invited. And Gray said, "Ew, no, that guy looks so weird." And over the years, Gray recalled that moment to me so many times, always laughing about how quick he was to judge me. Gray was honestly the funniest person that I've ever met. I still don't understand how he could just make a stupid sound and everyone in the room would laugh. To be honest, that is something I was always jealous about him. He had such great charisma and could just take over the room. He was truly the life of the party. To pretend that Gray and I had a perfect relationship would be wrong. He was stubborn and I was angsty, and we clashed more than most friends do. But he wasn't just my friend. He was my brother, and that's what brothers do. Brothers fight, they make up, and they love each other once again. We grew together, we made mistakes together, and we learned together. Gray and I went to different colleges, He to Clemson, me to Wisconsin, but we both ended up joining the same fraternity. And when we saw each other, we would always talk about how now we are officially brothers. And although we said it in one of his joking, stupid voices, I know that we both truly meant it. My freshman year art teacher, the late Mr. Cuniff, used to begin every class with this prayer: God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is the hardest thing that I have ever done, saying goodbye to my best friend. But he has left us with these parting gifts: the serenity to accept, the courage to carry on, and the wisdom to know that we can. Goodbye, Gray, until I see you again.
Hey everyone, my name is Charlie Hanley, if you didn't know me already, and first and foremost, I just want to express my deepest condolences to the Mazich family. I know we've been all going through a lot of pain this past week, but to experience what you all have been going through is, it's completely unthinkable, and I just wanted to show that I'm personally here for you. The entire prep community, we're all here for you, and then the dozens upon dozens of friends Grace made, they're all here for you. So if you ever need anything, please just let us know. But one thing I'd like to talk about with Gray that I didn't really realize until recently was just how consistent he was as a person. Gray was always able to bring joy and light into any situation. Even if he had like a tough test or a tough game or something, he was always very consistent in character. He was always able to make other people smile and bring other people joy. And it really goes to show just how much of an incredible leader he was, like emotionally and like spiritually. It really inspires me that, if I want to be a good leader someday, I have to adopt that same sort of consistency. And I thank Gray for just showing me how to do it. He inspires and he continues to inspire me. He will continue till the day I join him in heaven. But I know we've all lost someone very close and dear to us. But he lives on through every single one of us. The energy he brought, the humor especially. He will never be forgotten. And legends, they never die. And I will always cherish the friendship that Gray and I had, and I will love him like a brother, more than a brother. But I just want to thank you for the opportunity, for giving me a chance to speak, and stay strong.
Greyson Cole Mazich was truly a special friend to many and someone I would consider a brother. 3 qualities and a few events especially stand out to me. First, Gray was always the life of the party. When Gray was in the room, he was bigger than life. And because of his hilarious jokes and his presence, everyone always had a smile on their face. Second, Gray was a leader. He always gave it 100% in anything he pursued and expected the same of anyone around him. Whether it was on the pitch or the turf, Gray left everything on the field. And as a result, everyone was a better person for it. Lastly, he was truly a man for others. If someone was down or having a problem, Gray was always there to lend an ear or a well-thought-out solution. I know my life was better with Gray in it, and to say I'll miss him is an understatement. Some of the countless memories I'll cherish forever include the rugby trip with Madelone to Ireland, the service trip to Pine Ridge Indian Reservation with Dugan, fishing on the Potomac River, visiting you down at Clemson for the spring game, shooting guns at the PG County trap and skeet range, the wild nights on beach week, all the hilarious conversations we had after lunch and during free periods, and all the crazy parties on Ward Terrace. There's so many more things that we'll talk about over a beer when I see you again. And until then, keep watching over all of us like I know you are, and rest in paradise, buddy.
Hey everyone, my name is Eddie Thompson, and I've lived with Gray the past 3 years at Clemson. It's really hard to start something like this because there's about a million things that I want to say. I first met Gray on bid day for Sigma Chi our freshman year at Clemson. I honestly didn't know what to think of him because I had never seen anyone so unapologetically themselves. His humor is what first stuck out to me. He had the weirdest sense of humor of anyone I had ever met, but I can honestly say that I've never laughed and smiled harder than when I was with Gray. From his countless inaudible noises, his random phrases, and outrageous YouTube videos that only he found funny, there really never was a dull moment. As I look back on our time together, I truly feel lucky that I was able to experience the thing that is Gray. I can't remember a time when we weren't doing things together. Whether we were going downtown to the bars at Clemson, playing Xbox together, or grocery shopping, we literally planned and did everything together. Gray could have been friends with anyone in the world, and I don't think I'll ever quite understand why he chose to be such a close friend to me. He was a lot cooler, funnier, and more confident than me, but for some reason he stuck with me. He was more than just a friend. He was my brother. He was family. And I can't believe that I have to go through life without him. I always thought we would be 80 years old, still making the same stupid jokes, noises, and impersonations we've been doing the past 4 years. I'm truly going to miss him for the rest of my life, and no matter what I do, it's going to feel like something is missing. I know you're looking down on all of us, and I hope you're resting easy. I love you, Gray.
Hi, my name is Jack McSweeney. Gray truly made an impact on everyone that knew him. From the moment I met him, I knew he was going to be my best friend. Before I knew it, he became my fraternity brother and my roommate for the past 3 years. We shared the same humor, and I am confident that I will never have as many inside jokes with anyone other than him. He always knew how to cheer me up. Even when I was in a bad mood or didn't feel like laughing, he could always get through to me. I felt so safe around him, wherever we went, because I always knew he had my back. I will cherish the random Snapchats, texts, and FaceTimes with him, as he never failed to make me laugh no matter where I was. He truly loved life, loved making people laugh, and would do anything for his friends. Gray was more than a friend to me, and he was the reason college was so special. I would do anything to have one last stupid argument, make one of our weird noises, or just play Xbox. Everything we did was better because of him, whether it be getting groceries or going downtown in Clemson. It was more fun because he was around. Gray taught me so much about everything, and I really looked up to him. I will still be confused as to why he chose to hang out with me all these years, because he was way cooler than me. When I was in the room with him, the energy just felt different, because being around him just was a privilege. I'll never meet a funnier, charismatic, charming person, and with the amount of people he touched, he will always be missed and forever remembered. To my brother and my best friend, I love you, Gray.
When Gray first walked into Modern Day after transferring from Langley, I thought, who was this 19-year-old in my 8th grade class? Truly, he was a man among boys. Needless to say, he dominated on the football field. But as we got to know him, we realized that he was just this goofy kid who loved to have fun and joke around, but also happened to be wildly athletic. He invited me to spend a week with his family in the Outer Banks that summer. Upon arrival, Mr. Mazich drove Gray, Cade, and me to the gym to get us a week-long membership so we could do Cade's varsity football workouts. Gray and I were 14 at the time, and I hadn't lifted a weight in my life, but it was obvious that this was Gray's normal. It was pretty eye-opening. Gray clearly held himself to a higher standard, as he regularly did work that other kids our age simply weren't doing. Throughout that week, I took notice of how awesome Gray's family was. They took us to do different activities and water sports by day, and by night we'd watch nauseatingly violent horror movies with Gray's grandmother as she'd cheer with joy while the victims of Saw 3 were sliced in half. The Mazich family is truly one of a kind, and I can't thank them enough for the hospitality they've shown me over the years. But if we're going to talk about Gray, we have to also talk about his peculiar sense of humor. Let's do some translations. It's colder than Uganda right now. Translation: it's cold. Stop being a wuss. Walks past my dad. What's up, Mafia 2? Translation: Mafia 2 is a video game where the main character kind of looks like my dad. The similarities include being bald and white. Walks up to a completely random bald white guy at the mall. How are you, Mr. Kirlin? He also had a hilarious obsession with UFOs, to the point where he'd call me in the middle of the night telling me to read a new Reddit post he had just composed about one of his sightings. I never really believed him, but he relentlessly swore that he had seen something not of this world. Bob Lazar reverse engineered a flying saucer at S4, he'd always remind me. Gray's positive mental attitude and comical approach to life were infectious. I'm convinced that the prep rugby team wouldn't have made it through some of those freezing early season practices without Gray's effect on our morale. As we finished a miserable warm-up, Gray was always there to remind us that it's colder than Uganda right now.
The relationship I have with Gray is indescribable. It's so hard to measure it with words, to quantify it with words, just because whenever you were with him, it felt like time was infinite almost. His presence was just, it made you feel that comfortable. And when you were around him, there was no worries. Everything was just hilarious. Everything was deep. Just thinking now, like any definition of a friend or a brother, if anyone asked me that, the first image in my head is immediately Gray. Just because he met all of those qualities to a T. And that's something I just really appreciated from him, because not only was he amazingly hardworking, amazingly sensible and smart, and obviously hilarious, but he was also incredibly genuine, sincere, and honest. And that's what you want out of a friend and a brother, and just as a person that you're around every single day. You want someone that you can trust, that has your back, but also someone that actually knows you and actually can see you. And that's a quality that Gray absolutely had. And it just made me feel very comfortable with him all of the time, because there was a trust there, that because he was such a good friend and such a good brother, that he knew who you were and you knew who he was, and which created just a bond that's forever.
Hi, my name is Scott Whittier. I had the pleasure to coach Grey Mazich for 3 varsity seasons here at Georgetown Prep. 2014, 15, and 16. I first want to send my condolences to the Mazich family on behalf of the Whittier family for the loss of such a great young man in Grey. I had the pleasure again to coach him. He was an outside linebacker in 2015, and then he moved to inside 14, and he moved to inside linebacker in 2016 and 17, where it was a great opportunity to work with such a smart, tough, great athlete in Grey. I learned of him from his youth league in Maplewood, from all the coaches, that this young man loved to play the game. He loved to hit. He didn't say a whole lot. He just followed, at first, the lead of the older guys. And then he became a tremendous leader for our team. Not only for our team, but for our community. He was smart, tough, and most of all was a great team player. Grey played through a lot of injuries, specifically his shoulder, and he, at times I've heard from his teammates, did not want to come off the field because that's how much he cared about his team, his coaches, his community, his family. He wanted to make everyone proud. That, to me, is one of the greatest things he brought to the table, because Grey you'd never heard a whole lot from. He'd be out at practice, he'd work hard. He had a switch that when he got fired up, it was no stopping him. He could run, he enjoyed the game, and I dearly loved coaching him. Over the past week, I've had the pleasure or the opportunity to talk with many of his former teammates. They all had one thing to say about Grey. Grey always made us laugh, he made us smile, and we loved to be around him. Grey was a tremendous, tremendous attribute to the prep community, the prep football program and rugby program. He worked with the younger guys, he led, and he will be greatly missed. I find myself at a loss over this situation, but I do want Grey and the Mazich family to know that we love you, we care for you, and he will be greatly missed here at Georgetown Prep. God bless.
Hey everyone, my name is John Ghazal, Prep Class of 2017. I'd like to start off by offering my condolences to Grey's parents and 2 brothers, and for them to know that my thoughts and prayers are with them now and forever. When I heard the terrible news last week from my prep classmates, I simply couldn't believe it. I called and texted Grey's phone multiple times because it was honestly the last thing I expected to hear on that day. To say Grey Mazich had a positive impact on my prep career would be a huge understatement. Grey and I became really close friends towards the end of our sophomore year after bonding over the fact that we were 2 of the only guys in our class from the state of Virginia. I remember Grey got his driver's license before me, and he would give me rides home after sports practice all the time, even though it was in the complete opposite direction of his house. But that's just the type of guy who he was, always looking out for his friends, making sure they're okay, and doing so with a big smile on his face. Even during tough times, like when the prep football team lost their final game of the season to Bullis, or getting in trouble and sent to the dean's office, Grey had a smile on his face that would brighten up anyone's day. He would know when a guy was down or having a bad day, and he'd do anything in his power to change that. When we went our separate ways for college, I knew that if I ever needed to call or FaceTime or text Grey, that he would respond any time of day because he truly cared about his friends and wanted to know how you were doing. I'll forever long for the days of sitting on the Beltway in bumper-to-bumper traffic, Santini dinners, camping out by the river in Great Falls, and all the late nights out together. I'd do anything humanly possible just to enjoy one more of these fond memories with Grey for the final time. It's impossible for me to put into words how special of a guy Grey truly was, and he'll be missed by so many. I pray that the Mazich family, prep class of 2017, and those who knew and loved Gray find healing and strength in God's love. I will think about Gray Mazich every single day for the rest of my life, and I hope one day we can meet again. Until then, may he forever rest in paradise.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew Bartlett. Gray and I became best friends the second we stepped foot at prep for freshman football. I soon learned that he would truly be one of the best people I will ever know. While most people saw him as the funny one without a care in the world, which he was, I saw his more gentle, caring, and empathetic side after growing so close with him throughout our years at prep. He was a friend who would constantly ask how I'm doing. Most people never saw or understood this side of Gray, but I was lucky enough to. Even when we went to college, he would frequently text and FaceTime me to say how he can't wait to be back and hang out, or just make some of the classic Gray noises that he would do for absolutely no reason. Gray and I would sit next to each other in most of the classes we took at prep. Every time we did, without fail, we'd be forced to sit in different seats by the end of the first week. In econ, after Mr. Kirlin made Gray and I sit at different tables, he ended up sitting at the table right in front of me. After this, Gray would go on YouTube every day, turn on videos that were not appropriate for class, then turn around, whisper my name, and throw things at me until I watched the videos with him. He knew it would make me laugh every time, so he kept doing it. That's who Gray was. He loved to make other people happy more than anyone I've ever met, whether it be through jokes, impersonations, or even a heart-to-heart. I'll do anything to have one more day with him. I'll never forget the times we shared together, whether it was at Buffalo Wild Wings, his house, or Alex's house. I'll do anything to get one more text from him, saying that he was grounded and needed someone to pick him up from Great Falls, or that he needed me to text his mom and ask if he can come to the movies with us after getting in trouble yet again. I've said this before, but Gray wasn't like a brother to me. He was my brother, and the world needs more people like Gray Mazich.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul, in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul, in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river in my soul, in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river in my soul, in my soul.
Here we are, Alaska. Beautiful airstrip. No one here. Nothing but nature, myself, and God. So peaceful. Wait a minute. What's this? What's up? Oh my.
where I want to be, but I guess I'm already there. I come home, she lifted up her wing. I guess that this must be the place. I can't tell one from the other. I find you or you find me. If there was a time before we were born, if someone asked, this is where I'll be, where I'll be. High, we drift in and out. High, singing to my mouth. Out of all those kinds of people, you got